Celtic Myths and Legends by T.W. Rolleston. Chapter 3 Irish Invasion Myths. The Quest of the Sons of Turenn. Lugh, on his side, also prepared for the final combat, but to ensure victory, certain magical instruments were still needed for him, and these had now to be obtained. The story of the quest of these objects, which incidentally tells us also of the end of Lugh's father, Turenn, is one of the most valuable and curious in Irish legend, and formed one of the triad of mythical tales which are reckoned as the flower of Irish romance. Turenn, the story goes, was sent northward by Lugh to summon the fighting men of the Dananns in Ulster to the hosting against the Fomorians. On his way, as he crossed the plain of Murthemni near Dundalk, he meets with three brothers, Brian, Iachar, and Iacharba, sons of Turenn, between whose house and that of Turenn there was a blood feud. He seeks to avoid them by changing into the form of a pig and joining a herd which is rooting in the plain. But the brothers detect him, and Brian wounds him with a cast from a spear. Turenn, knowing that his end is come, begs to be allowed to change back into human form before he is slain. I have liefer kill a man than a pig, says Brian, who takes throughout the leading part in all the brothers' adventure. Turenn then stands before them as a man, with the blood from Brian's spear trickling from his breast. I've outwitted ye, he cries, for if ye had slain a pig, ye would have paid. But the Eric, blood fine, of a pig, but now ye shall pay the Eric of a man. Neither was greater Eric than that which ye shall pay, and the weapons ye slay me with shall tell the tale of the Avenger of Blood. Now, at least, it's not all draconian, and it's like, you killed a pig, and it's like killing a human being, and it's like, well, I think that killing a pig is probably more serious than people tend to think of killing a human being as, despite the fact that some people may support the death penalty, or may support, even worse, life in prison. But certainly these PETA extremists, well, okay, not all of them, but certainly some of these people in their, oh, how dare you kill a pig, but a man, oh, they kill, But in general, there's no good reason to kill a pig. Beating pigs with billy clubs and all that other stuff that they do in my culture, yeah, I'm not supportive of that. I haven't been supportive of that in a long time, particularly I didn't even know that this stuff was going on. Okay, the other two were the fate of the children of Lir and the fate of the sons of Usna. The stories of the quest of the sons of Turenn and that of the children of Lir have been told in full by the author in his High Deeds of Finn and other bardic romance, and that of the sons of Usna, the Deirdre legend, by Miss Eleanor Hall in her Cuchulainn, both published by Harp and Co. And then you shall be slain with no weapons at all, says Brian, and he and his brothers stone him to death, and bury him in the ground as deep as the height of a man. But when Lugh shortly afterwards passes that way, The stones on the plain cry out and tell him of his father's murderer at the hands of the sons of Turenn. He uncovers the body, and vowing vengeance, returns to Tara. Here he accuses the sons of Turenn before the High King, and is permitted to have them executed, or to name the Eric he will accept in remission of that sentence. Lu chooses to have the Eric, and his names. When he names it as follows: concealing things of vast price, and involving unheard of toils under the names of common objects: 3 apples, the skin of a pig, a sphere, and a chariot with 2 horses, 7 swine, a hound, a cooking spit, and finally to give 3 shouts on the hill. So 3 apples on a branch, the skin of a pig as a magic bag, because remember the Shayateen min al Jinn, may be persuaded by things of an unclean beast. A spear, the hazel wand, and the holy stone in terms of the thing. But so the Far Yuwaka tarot is kind of touching on different areas, but not entirely on any one area of Celtic mythology. But it's supposed to be based on her own experience, and that's really what for those who have a rich spiritual life, it's like some of the color coding you see in my paintings and stuff. There's some particulars that are coming through only with me, and it's about meaning. It's not, I'm drawing, I'm not making graven images. It's hieroglyph. It's kind of like using hieroglyphs. But anyways, the brothers bind themselves to pay the fine, and Lu then declares the meaning of it. The 3 apples are those which grow in the garden of the sun. The pig skin is a magical skin which heals every wound and sickness if it can be laid on the sufferer, and it is a possession. It is a possession of the king of Greece. The spear is a magical weapon owned by the king of Persia. These names, of course, are more fanciful appellations for places in the mysterious world of Fari. The 7 swine belong to King Asal of the Golden Pillars, and may be killed and eaten every night, and yet be found whole the next day. The spit belongs to the sea nymphs of the sunken island of Finturi, and the 3 shouts are to be given on the hill of a fierce warrior, Maka'an, who, with his sons, are under vows to prevent any man from raising his voice on that hill. To fulfill any one of these enterprises would be an all but impossible task, and the brothers must accomplish them all before they can clear themselves of the guilt and penalty of Kian's death. Now, one thing that is the case in Orthodox religion is the idea that if you started the process and die in the process of being forgiven, then it's taken care of. Now, pseudo-Orthodox religion, like Christianity, is a little bit different in that respect, in that they say, the price has already been paid. The bonds of sin are broken, but are they? Do people stop making mistakes as soon as they become Christian? A lot of people get even worse. So that's something certainly people of the Mithraic persuasion got to answer for. The story then goes on to tell how, with infinite daring and resources, the sons of Turenn accomplish one by one all their tasks, but when they are all done, save the capture of the cooking spit and 3 shouts on the hill of Maka'an, Lu, by magical arts, causes forgetfulness to fall upon them, and they return to Ireland with their treasures. These especially, the spear and the pigskin, are just what Lu needs to help him against the Fomorians. But his vengeance is not complete. After receiving the treasures, he reminds the brothers of what is yet to be won. They, in deep dejection, now begin to understand how they are played with, and go forth sadly to win, if they can, the rest of the Eric. After long wandering, they discover that the island of Finchery is not above, but under the sea. Brian, in a magical water dress, goes down to it, sees the thrice 50 nymphs in their palace, and seizes the golden spit from under their hearth. The ordeal of the hill of Makkan is the last to be attempted. After a desperate combat, which ends in the slaying of Makkan and his sons, the brothers, mortally wounded, lifted their voices in 3 faint cries, and so the Eric is fulfilled. The life is still in them, however, when they return to Ireland, and their aged father, Turenn, implores Lugh for the loan of the magic pigskin to help to heal them, but the implacable Lugh refuses, and the brothers and their father die together. So ends the tale. Now, okay, that's pretty messed up, right? But then again, we need to return to a society of such honor that we got to be willing to personally pay the price for our mistakes. Not out of pride that, oh, what are they going to say of me? My own image, I must have society with the same image of me that I have of me. No, it's just in the greater respect, which feeds upon itself. And this is one of the things that we can restore society with. Now, merely killing people for honor, I'm not going to support that. But as you can see, there are some things that honor is important in motivating actions of all sorts.